Hello, wonderful world of YouTube. My name is Chris. I'm the proud hubby and daddy, and you're tuned in to Motivated Living. Uh, I thank you for tuning in, coming to join me. We're going to talk about a serious issue today. I invite you to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit your notification bell. Feel free to leave some comments below. We're going to talk about loss and dealing with it. Um, it's more of an emotional type deal. You know, if you lose somebody, could be person, animals. Grief should be more so loss and grief. Some ways to deal with it, to cope, and I find that I feeling driven to bring this content. I'm not prepared for it. It's just weighing on my heart. I was getting ready to lay down, but it's weighing in my mind, and so I wanted to share some of my feelings because Motivated Living, I'm all about content that could help somebody else. Because I know there was a time I sure needed help, and I turned to the wrong things for help in dealing with things. Just in a nutshell, um, I grew up. First off, it was a abusive home. You know, briefly, when my mother caught wind of it, she got us away from there, and someone else came into my life from a youngster and raised me all the way on up. He was my dad and the only one I really knew. But I held so much in and kind of blamed him for all the, crazy nonsense that we went through when I was a youngster. But, I waited until it was too long, too late, and he ended up being in the casket. And finally brought myself to be able to, express, hey man, I love you, man. Thanks for being my dad. But the words I never got to say, well, they haunted me for years and years and years because I didn't know how to dig deep down inside. A lot of us men don't, we just deal with stuff. We hold it in, But once I started reflecting and realizing that I needed to make some serious changes in my life to get off the path I was on, and no longer be like a captain in the devil's army, for lack of better words. Once I dug deep down inside and found the root of the problem as to what really caused me to lose it, and it was that I didn't know how to deal with it, so I acted a fool. Like many people do. We turn to using substances or alcohol, living without a care, frolicking. You can vent through sexual contact and so forth and so on. So in my self-quest, and this is many years have passed, and I was digging down in, and I started dealing with certain feelings. I still kind of get uneasy talking about it, but growth is a process, just like change is. But I do want to share some things that helped me, and maybe they could help you or somebody before someone else has to go down the brutal path of mistakes and regrets, so to speak. Granted, mistakes can lead to growth, but they can also lead to death, especially when you go down a dark path. Well, the main thing that helped me was I got out a pen and paper. Once I quit hiding behind this, big old bench pressing tattooed feller, and realized I'm human too with feelings, and that there was an issue, I started addressing it. And I got out a pen and paper, and I wrote him a letter. All the things I couldn't say, wrote to my dad. Just wrote out a letter. And then when I was done, I got rid of it. But it got everything out. So it no longer was plaguing me, because that was the final step in my growth process. What was still holding me down was to face that and address that. So, writing out my things I wanted to say, but I couldn't. Now, it could be a different situation for somebody else. It may not be a loss to that extent, but it could be, because mine went kind of deep because of all the regrets and me really being upset with myself for waiting until it was too late to tell them things. But I've used this same tactic because I learned it before, and then now I had other losses, where I've lost, individuals, so I could just write a letter of closure, how I feel about them, um, not being with us anymore, how I feel about the way it came about, or, my way of saying goodbye and, good Lord willing, I'll see you again, on the other side type deal, and then tear it up. Some people do what's called a burn journal, where you write something and safely find somewhere where you could light it on fire and burn it. It could be any type of feelings, something that's holding you down, a way to vent that's positive, and it's not going to hurt anybody else, and that's between you, your pen, and your paper. Now, I know other people who, and I've done it, things are bothering me. I go into my little garage area with the heavy bag, work out, and beat the stuffing out of it when no one else can hear me, and talk my feelings out that way, because you're working out at the same time and you're expressing it. I've helped vent through my artwork. That's helped me. Some people say they can't draw a stick figure. Well, draw a stick figure if it helps you. Whatever it takes to get it out. I know a lot of us aren't big on, and I don't know your situation. I know me. I don't like talking to people about my feelings. I never have. But I also know that, we have to get this toxic stuff out, these things that could stop us from growth. And some people are all right with going and talking to somebody. If you have someone you can trust, or if you want to see a therapist, or if you have a better half. But then there's some times where you don't feel like you can talk to anybody. So that's where the pen and the paper help me. And this isn't the pen I write with. It's for my camera comes with a cool little pen where I can hit the button and record. And I fidget a lot because this topic hits hard and touches close to home. And even though I'm uncomfortable with talking to the world full of people I don't know, with sharing it, I know in my heart and the back of my head that there's a chance, maybe, just maybe, there's one person out there who needs to hear this and it could help them, and then so be it. I'm going to sacrifice these fidgety feelings of mine and I'm going to bring it to you, because motivated living, that's what my channel's about, is sharing things that could possibly help somebody. If anybody else who's seeing this has something they could add, or something that's helped them, please, by all means, I encourage you, go down in them comments and put it out there. You don't even have to subscribe doing that, I would like to invite you to join me on this journey to better living. And if you got something out of this video, like it for me. Let me know you're here. Drop down in the comments, how you feel about the content. And again, I'm actually asking people out there who are watching this video, or who have seen other people go through some things, or yourselves, and you have a way that helps to deal with stuff, please put it down below, because it's all about helping somebody else. Because I know that someone else out there suffering, and we can do our part to help somebody. And I can't stress my part enough, because it really has helped me. And that's what finally broke my chains, because no matter where I was at, in this land of the free, I wasn't free, because they were bondage chains to me. And it really hindered a lot, and it kept me having stinking thinking, for lack of better words, and just acting a fool, and keeping doors closed, and it wasn't beneficial at all. And then that was the only way I could really find to put it all out, because when I would talk to people about it, I would find some way to sidestep the question, and go around and in the back door and out the window, and would never touch the issue. But when I got alone and I knew I could trust that this was between me, and that my heart was going to, who I lost, it came out. And in turn, I remember just when I wrote, and I'll go back to the one with my dad, because that's the one that hits the heaviest, and it's been many years have passed, and many years had passed when I was still living destructively, until I faced this and got things out, and now I feel in my heart he can look down and be proud. And man, why'd you go with them tattoos? Because he wasn't very fond of tattoos.